Hello, wrestling fans! Welcome to another edition of Tag Team. As always, I'm your host, your Scopio, alongside the invincible Vincent.
Hey!
TNA. Victory Road. The only pay-per-view, I should say major pay-per-view here, of the major two companies here for the month of March. And man, this pay-per-view ended solid!
Yeah. All the craziness, Bobby Roode menacing the owner, all the goodness.
We'll get into that later on in the show. Let's get started here with what actually happened on the pay-per-view. Good things, bad things. All in all, I say I give this pay-per-view a solid 8. How about you?
Yeah, 8. 8 is
all right.
Right in the good range.
As we mentioned here, 8 matches in the card. One that was not announced, but again, was a surprise and intended to be a surprise, but pleasant surprise at that. Let's get started here from the beginning of the card. First things first, we actually had Bully Ray come out, state, "Shut up!" to the crowd when they started saying, he sucks. Told the referee, "Get out of my ring." And then he mentions that he's going to stay in the ring. He's not going to let this pay-per-view continue unless this match versus James Storm becomes a number one contenders match.
Yeah. He basically wanted to hold Victory Road hostage. And James Storm came down, said, "That's what you wanted. Let's do it." And
he got the blessing here from Sting. Sting tweeted right before that happened, if he allows it to be a number one contenders match, then it's a number one contenders match. And sure enough, James Storm mentioned it is, and there it was. But he said, "Let's not wait. Let's do it right now." And they got to it. Match began, and the match ends soon after with the great super kick called Last Call.
Last Call super kick to the face of Bully Ray, and it was pretty much over.
Right, it's pretty much self-explanatory. So the number one contendership still belongs to James Storm. No big change there. So we continue here to match number 2 of the card, which was Division X Championship. This was my personal favorite. Again, it is Austin Aries versus Zema Ion. And this match was as advertised. Man, it was perfect.
Yeah, this match went back and forth, pretty unguessable from start to almost the finish. Zema Ion at one point went to the outside. Looked like he was going to do the same move that he did, unfortunately, against Varsity prior. But before he could do it, he got pushed off the top rope by Austin Aries. Lots of spills and throws during this match.
This was the most interesting part, was when actually Austin Aries gets sprayed in the face with a can of hairspray.
Yeah.
All right. Even though he has blinders on, he still manages to not only get the victory, but manages to hit last chanceries on Zema Ion for the victory. But again, that doesn't mention how good this match was. Back and forth, action from the top. Actually hit the reverse moonsault here on Austin Aries that put Jesse Sorensen out of commission, and he actually paid a little bit of a price when he went out to the ring, blind out to the ring. Austin Aries wasn't there to catch him, and he landed on back first.
Yeah, he landed on the ground hard.
Get out there, get what you came to get.
Yeah, you got a little bit of payback there, and I don't think that was an accident.
I think Jesse Sorensen called him up and said, "Hey,
do me a solid.
Get him for me. Get him for me."
Okay. Austin Aries, like, I'm on it.
Yeah. It was a good match, definitely worthy of X Division, and made me proud. Way to go, X Division. Well, after that, we had the Tag Team Championship match between Crimson, Matt Morgan, and the champions Samoa Joe and Magnus.
Joe's gonna kill you.
Man, this was, again, continuation match. We've seen this match before, but now it's a little bit different because we have Crimson and Matt Morgan at each other's throats, sort of.
Yeah. Crimson and Matt Morgan, even before the match, they were going back and forth about whose fault it was they lost last time, and let's put that behind us and let's go win me a championship by Crimson. And as the match progressed, Crimson got in there and basically did not want to tag out, even when it was obvious that it was time for him to tag out, and it wore.
Yeah, it did not work for him, actually. It seems that, again, Crimson's selfish ways were still there. He actually bailed out on Matt Morgan in this match.
Yeah,
when Matt Morgan said, "You gotta tag me. This is we're for the belts. For the belt."
He's like, As a matter of fact, at one point, while he was still in the ring, refusing to tag out, and he was getting ready to get clobbered, Matt Morgan went over and manually moved him out of the way so he wouldn't get clobbered. Basically, this was how obvious it was that it was time for him to tag out. He didn't want to do it, and at one point or another, he left Matt Morgan in the ring, basically getting beat up by Magnus and Joe, and talking smack from the outside about how he didn't need him and he needed him more than he needed to be there.
But Matt Morgan didn't just let him talk.
Nah. You know, he gave him the double eagles. He's like, take a couple of these with you as long as you're leaving. So.
Oh man, but again, Matt Morgan paid the price. He got shafted, and of course, we had Magnus end up getting the pin on Matt Morgan. So technically, Crimson is still undefeated. I expected him to get pinned. He did not. I'm disappointed.
Didn't happen. It'll happen if you can't have a gimmick where you're
been saying that month after month, man.
But it keeps
14
happening.
weeks.
What do you want me to tell you?
No, 14 weeks. 14 months.
Yeah.
Oh, 14 weeks.
Still
14
there.
months.
Still there.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Whatever. All right. Well,
whatever he's paying the people who are in charge to keep him alive, it's working. I don't know what to tell you.
Anyway, all right. After that, we had the television championship match between. Well, actually, before we get into that, let's talk about what happened with Jeremy Borash. Now, this guy was actually doing interviews in between matches, taking questions from people that sent their questions on Twitter via #VictoryRoad. He was answering questions in regards to particular guys. In this case, Austin Aries.
Yeah.
Austin Aries ends up standing right there. He's going to ask Austin Aries the reason why Sting doesn't put him in main events, whatever. Yeah. And here comes Eric Bischoff out of nowhere for no reason and talks his mess.
Yeah, now Eric Bischoff, the behind the scenes on this is Eric Bischoff and Jeremy Borash have been shooting back and forth at each other for about a week or so. Apparently, something was said to somebody, or something was said rather to Eric Bischoff, indicating that Jeremy Borash had indicated that he was in some way some sort of an owner of TNA, and that didn't sit well with Bischoff. And they've been going back and forth about this for the last week or so, and Eric Bischoff basically put him on blast in front of the entire world. I don't know if that was part of the show or if that was just Eric Bischoff being Eric Bischoff on live TV.
I wouldn't put it past him either way. After that, though, he comes back with it, Borash does, and states that he wants to apologize for the actions of Eric Bischoff earlier in the show, that, he's just being, Eric Bischoff, and, he has apologized for what he's done for the past basically 20 years that he's been working with him. So, man, is this real, or is this part of the
controversy creates cash?
Right. Can't argue with it. Borash versus Eric Bischoff. Let's do it.
Let's have it up. It's gonna happen.
Let's have
two non-wrestlers. Let's see that.
Let's have one of those where they chase him there with the cell phones and the bars.
Exactly. Yeah, do that.
Samoa Joe got that famous.
Exactly.
All right. After that, we had the television championship. This was actually Rob E. with Rob Terry versus Open Challenge. Of course, he mentions that he can't have an open challenge with wrestlers because everybody in the back is booked for later tonight.
Yeah.
So he says open challenge to the crowd, and he pretty much makes fun of some fat lady sitting in the front row.
Yeah. He clowns some old, very, very skinny man. That guy weighs like 70 pounds. Basically, he said, I'm sorry, we're not going to have the open challenge tonight because there's just nobody who can face me.
Now, it appears to me that Devon should have been there earlier, but they said, well, since nobody wants to wrestle, I'm going to cancel this and make it a pose-off. So they start posing, and then after Devon finishes his popcorn or whatever it was, he finally comes out from the back from the actual crowd.
Yeah.
And he's, squeezing his way through there. Maybe it was tied up there or whatever. Maybe he had to show his credentials. Yeah, I'm Devon.
I assure you.
I don't need a ticket. I don't need a ticket.
Here's my ID. I assure you I work here.
He got down there, and here we go. He's trying to avoid having this match. And then actually, the young referee here, talking about young Hebner.
Yeah, Brian Hebner.
Says that, you know what? You had this open challenge. It's on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
He's
got nothing to do. Let's go. Match takes place, and good match here for Devon.
Yeah. Action-packed match that ends with Devon getting the TV title.
Power bomb later, new champion. So there we go. That was short. I wouldn't say short-lived, but it was lackluster, to say the least here. Robbie E. Unfortunate. Now hopefully Robbie E. and EY can get some matches back together. Well, again, EY is half of the knockout champions.
That is true.
Who knows? Maybe Robbie E and Rob T can fight for those tag, knockout champions.
Anything's possible.
Whatever, right? Why not? All right, after that, speaking of knockouts, we had knockout championship match. Gail Kim versus Madison Rayne. I predicted this match to be off the chain. Two of the best knockouts in TNA. And they did not disappoint, but didn't really impress at the same time.
Yeah, didn't really go, 10 out of 10, but overall it was a good match. Most of the backstory had to do with just them being the frenemies and whatnot, but it was a great match.
Yeah, we have Gail Kim winning the match and retaining the championship after hitting the Eat Defeat on Madison Rayne, and there we go. So, again, they're not really friends. Gail Kim took off, Madison Rayne was still laid out. Man, it was, again, that's the end of that friendship, and we move on here to the next match. After that, we have AJ Styles and Mr. Anderson versus Christopher Daniels and Kazarian. Frankie Kazarian doesn't really seem to talk a lot, but shows up to get his butt kicked once in a while.
Yeah.
This match, good match, actually one of the greater matches. AJ Styles does what he does, sells out like nobody else. Mr. Anderson does a little bit of participation, not too much, but it's basically all AJ Styles, him, and Christopher Daniels.
Christopher Daniels, yeah, they were the two main players in this match. Kazarian and Anderson weren't just window dressing, but they filled in some gaps here and there. So, but overall, if it had just been a singles match between AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels, it still would have been a phenomenal match. Phenomenal. So.
There we go. AJ Styles wins this match when hitting the Styles Splash on Kazarian. Kazarian and Daniels get out of the ring. Mr. Anderson and AJ Styles are celebrating. But here we go. Daniels saying, "You didn't win! You didn't win!
Yeah.
We're still here!"
Well, he did win because,
But you have to leave because they won.
Exactly.
So that's how that works. All right. See ya. Anyway, that's the way that match ends. Again, no real title implications on that match, but it was nonetheless one of those better matches on the card. After that, we had the semi-main event, Kurt Angle versus Jeff Hardy. This match was the tits.
Yeah, this was a very, very good match. Overall, Kurt Angle, and, a little bit of story there. Yeah, Kurt Angle's mad because his kid likes Jeff Hardy. Whatever.
Because his kid is a creature.
His kid is a creature. He's a Jeff Hardy fan. But, they went back and forth in this match. Jeff Hardy threw some things at Kurt Angle that, should have put him out of the game. He did the Swanton Bomb.
Man, multiple times. Hit the Swanton. One landed on the Angle's knees. Angle did try to do the ankle lock, and he got out of it. Not only that, the Twist of Fate. Two of those.
Yeah. Jeff Hardy going to the outside, going to just sell out.
Sell out. Nobody sells out like Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, Kurt Angle got out of the way and he bashed himself on the railing and got up and kept going after that. It was pretty ridiculous.
The guy's sick. Everybody knows what to expect from Jeff Hardy. When he's sober, he's one of the best. And you know what? Maybe he's not sober, but he showed up. When he shows up, he's one of the best. Normally.
Yeah.
And this match, again, was no exception. This guy went off. It was kind of, I wanted to see this guy win the match.
Yeah.
And the way he lost the match was because Kurt Angle decides to cheat, uses the rope as leverage as he's getting the pin. After, again, another wonton he landed, was trying to roll him up for the pin. Angle reverses it, does expertise, grabs the rope, and there we go.
Boom.
Referee did not see the grabbing of the rope, and again, the crowd's yelling, bull peep, but what are you going to do? Like Taz says, it happens. This is professional wrestling, people.
Yeah,
all right?
saga continues.
There's no instant replay in wrestling. Sorry. TNA, Impact, whatever. There is no instant replay.
Exactly.
All right. After that, we have the main event, the no-holds-barred match between Stinger and Bobby Roode. Now, this match was slow to start, but the end was the best part of the match. We have this match finally ending when actually...
Bobby Roode grabbed the chair.
That's right. It wasn't really... No, actually, he didn't. He grabbed the chair, but the match comes to an end when Sting does the Scorpion Death Drop.
Yeah.
And you
tell
tell him. I can't.
It wasn't like. I mean, Sting, when Sting did the Scorpion Death Drop, the back of his head hit the chair, and it wasn't like I mean, the way he did it, it didn't look like he was expecting to. I mean, the chair is like right there in the middle of the ring, you know. But there was no stiffening up. It was like he didn't know it was there.
He didn't brace himself.
He didn't tuck
his neck in, or that drop. No.
He just hit the chair with the back of his head.
Oh. Yeah, it was pretty
he was
bad.
laid out, and
if you watch Sting through his WCW, into TNA, you notice the guy doesn't really high risk sell out.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of his moves are safe. He got the Scorpion Death Drop, Scorpion Death Block. Not a real high flyer, isn't known for going off the top rope, anything like that. So when he took this shot, I really believe he did not think about the chair being that close to him hitting that Scorpion Death Drop, because the guy did not brace himself. He was just a clean right on the side of the chair. It wasn't the middle of the chair. It was the edge of the chair.
Yeah.
The chair buckled and it's unusable.
Yeah, it's broken.
And the guy is out for a little while.
Yeah.
Dang!
It was ugly. So, yeah. That's one of those moments where it's like, did they mean to do that?
Now, I thought he was out. But apparently, he was not. We have Bobby Roode going out to the ring, picking up Dixie Carter, throwing her into the ring, and then the fun begins.
Yeah. And then at this point, he's menacing Dixie Carter. He grabs some duct tape and tapes Sting to the bottom ropes. And Dixie Carter is trying to protect Sting. And Bobby Roode, he's getting his heel on. This is some of the best heel work I've seen in a while. You can't take it away from Bobby Roode.
Bobby Roode.
He sold it.
He's got the Carlito hair going on, frizzed out, and just, bitch, get out of here.
Menacing all
Look
over
at
the place.
Sting. Look at him.
And
what are you going to do, Dixie?
At one point, I think people in the crowd started screaming, woman beater. I mean,
he grabbed Dixie's hair. He pulled her by the hair. I mean, this guy.
He went off.
Rubbing makeup off of Sting, putting it on Dixie, and just, I mean, really, I thought the guy was going to drop his pants in front of her at one point. All right, I thought he was going to do it. This guy was up pretty good. I think the guy was on drugs, to be honest with you.
Whatever it was rough.
Number one heel in the world right now is no doubt about it.
Bobby
Roode. Bobby Roode. So, again, it was a great pay-per-view here because of the way this ended. Great climax here. I mean,
it was pretty rough.
Unexpected, good wins, good matches, and a great finale. So that's the recipe for a good pay-per-view here. So if you didn't watch it, hopefully you followed the live coverage on UnifiedWrestling.com. And again, be sure that you watch the follow-up to that this Thursday, Impact Wrestling on Spike TV. And if you don't get a chance to see it, my review here Thursday night. Vince William Vincent will be back on tomorrow night. WWE review show. Monday Night Raw. Alrighty.
Yes, sir.
From myself, Cesar Scopio, thank you very much for watching. See you guys next week.
Take care.